Good evening, this is the archive. On this day, March 4, 1887, New Orleans, Louisiana. The city was coming down slowly from Mardi Gras. Thousands of visitors had packed the streets just days before. According to the Weekly Pelican, the city treasury held $83,367. A building boom was underway. Places of amusement were doing, quote, land office business. But not everything was prosperous. That same week, two merchants, Emile Laroussini and James Renshaw, surrendered their assets to creditors, and quietly in the courts a fight was gathering. Opponents of the city's Sunday liquor law were demanding a jury trial. On this day that fight had a face. His name was Mayor Gillott. The mayor had drawn a hard line. Sunday liquor sales were over, not just in saloons, in private clubs too. That was the change that stung. For years, exclusive clubs had used their private status as a shield. They poured on Sundays. They stayed open. The Sunday law, they argued, simply did not apply to them. Mayor Gillott disagreed. According to the Weekly Pelican, New Orleans, Louisiana, 1886 through 1889, the mayor moved to extend enforcement beyond ordinary establishments. No exceptions, no carve-outs for the well-connected. It was a bold move in this city. New Orleans was not built on restraint. It was not built on sobriety. The Crescent City ran on commerce, on pleasure, on the particular freedom of a place that had always done things differently. And now the law was reaching into the clubs. Business owners did not accept it quietly. They organized. They announced they would demand a jury trial. That was the escalation. They were moving the fight off the streets and into the courtroom. It was reported that Judge Albert Voorhees was connected to the proceedings as the legal challenge took shape. The implications stretched far beyond Sunday whiskey. This was a question about who governed New Orleans, about whether religious conservatives could reshape a city built on something else entirely. The temperance movement had momentum across the country that year. But New Orleans was different ground. Every street corner knew it. Every barroom knew it. That morning the law was being enforced. Clubs were being shut down. Owners were being cited. And lawyers were already drafting arguments for a jury that had not yet been seated. The collision was coming. Commerce against conscience. Civil liberty against the Sabbath, and New Orleans, as always, would make it something to watch. On this day, the city was counting more than just revelers. It was counting its own. According to the Weekly Pelican, Reverend Henry Max Heller had been elected rabbi of Temple Sinai. He was young. He was newly arrived. Few could have predicted what followed. Heller would lead that congregation for decades. He became a prominent voice for labor rights, civil reform, and racial justice in Louisiana. It began quietly with a vote in the winter of 1887. Temple Sinai was one of the most established Reformed Jewish congregations in the South. His election was noted briefly. The paper moved on, but history did not. Meanwhile, the city's building boom was masking deeper cracks. That same week, two men surrendered what they had built. Emile Laroussini, a hatter, made an assignment for the benefit of his creditors. James Renshaw, a cotton merchant, did the same, both in the same week. An assignment meant handing your assets to a trustee. It meant the end of something. It was reported that New Orleans at this moment was booming. Construction was rising. Theaters were packed. The Academy of Music was preparing to welcome actor John T. Raymond the following night. The Economy Benevolent Association was approaching its 51st anniversary. The streets were loud with celebration. And yet two men quietly walked away from everything they owed. No crowds marked it. No bands played. The Weekly Pelican recorded it in a few lines. Commerce in New Orleans could be generous. It could also be merciless. Sometimes both in the same week. Rabbi Heller would remain at Temple Sinai for over 30 years. He became one of Louisiana's most outspoken voices for labor rights and civil justice. The Sunday law fight moved into the courts, as promised. New Orleans, being New Orleans, did not stay closed for long. Mayor Gillott's crackdown faded against the city's deeper instincts. According to the Weekly Pelican, New Orleans, Louisiana, 1886 through 1889, the city that held $83,000 in its treasury and shuttered schools for Mardi Gras was never truly interested in restraint. It was interested in surviving, and mostly it did. That was March 4, 1887. This is the archive.